Welcome to our U.S. briefing show. Today, we're diving into some exciting diplomatic updates. First up, there's a much more friendly and relaxed meeting between Ukrainian President Zelenskyy and former U.S. President Donald Trump. Unlike their previous tense encounter, this one was all about cordiality, with Zelenskyy even dressing formally to show a new diplomatic tone. Talk about a positive shift. Next, Trump has shared some interesting thoughts on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. He believes Putin might be tired of the war but warns that peace isn't guaranteed unless Putin is willing to make a deal. Trump also mentioned that the U.S. isn't sending troops but is ready to support Ukraine with air assistance, hoping for a peaceful resolution, though obstacles remain. Lastly, the global scene is buzzing with major developments. China's exports to the global south are booming, and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting China for the first time in 7 years to improve relations. Meanwhile, the U.S. considers taking a stake in Intel to boost chip production, showing how geopolitics and technology are increasingly intertwined. Please continue to watch for the full stories. Deutsche Welle reports that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy recently attended a meeting with President Donald Trump dressed in a formal black suit, signaling a shift in diplomatic tone from his usual military-style attire. This change follows earlier criticism of his wardrobe, suggesting a more serious and diplomatic approach. The meeting was notably cordial, contrasting sharply with their previous encounter in February, which ended with a televised spat in the Oval Office. Zelensky's newfound formal appearance and the overall warm atmosphere reflect a strategic effort to foster better relations and present a united front amid ongoing geopolitical tensions. The South China Morning Post highlights Trump's cautious optimism regarding the Ukraine-Russia conflict, with the president expressing hope that Vladimir Putin might be tired of the war and willing to negotiate. Trump acknowledged the possibility that Putin may not want peace, emphasizing the uncertainty surrounding future negotiations. Following discussions with Zelenskyy and European leaders, Trump revealed efforts to facilitate a direct meeting between Putin and Zelenskyy, suggesting that relations might be improving or at least more manageable. Trump also emphasized that while the U.S. would not commit troops to Ukraine's defense, it could offer other forms of support, including air assistance, and assured that U.S. troops would not be fighting on Ukraine's borders, underscoring the delicate balance of military aid and diplomatic efforts. Yahoo US reports that despite numerous diplomatic meetings aimed at resolving Russia's invasion of Ukraine, significant obstacles to peace persist. President Trump's recent interactions with Zelenskyy and Putin have yet to yield concrete progress, with unresolved issues and mutual mistrust hampering negotiations. The article underscores the complex geopolitical landscape, where diplomatic efforts are ongoing but fraught with challenges. While leaders continue to explore avenues for peace, the path forward remains uncertain, and the international community remains watchful of potential setbacks in achieving a lasting resolution to the conflict. The Associated Press highlights Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy's strategic use of gratitude diplomacy during his second visit to the Oval Office, emphasizing his efforts to repair diplomatic relations and garner support amidst ongoing conflict with Russia. Unlike his previous encounter with President Trump, which was marred by a public relations misstep where Zelenskyy was accused of not expressing enough gratitude, this visit was marked by Zelenskyy's repeated thanks, 9 times in the first minute, to the U.S. president and European allies. This deliberate display of appreciation aimed to foster goodwill, secure continued military and financial aid, and reinforce international unity, especially as Zelenskyy acknowledged the efforts of figures like Melania Trump and European leaders, emphasizing gratitude as a diplomatic tool to strengthen alliances and promote peace negotiations. The South China Morning Post reports on the broader geopolitical landscape, where President Trump has announced plans to facilitate a trilateral meeting between Zelenskyy and Putin, signaling a potential diplomatic breakthrough in the Ukraine conflict. Meanwhile, China's economic influence continues to grow, with exports to the global south doubling since 2015, especially after the U.S.-China trade war, illustrating Beijing's expanding global reach. Additionally, Russia's President Putin is engaging Brazil's Lula da Silva in diplomatic talks, seeking new avenues for peace amid the ongoing war, highlighting a shifting international diplomatic environment where multiple powers are vying to shape the future of Ukraine and global stability. These developments underscore a complex web of diplomacy where economic and political alliances are being recalibrated in response to the ongoing conflict and shifting global power dynamics. The SCMP also touches on other critical issues, including China's efforts to stimulate economic growth through bolder policies amid rising headwinds, and concerns over global health preparedness as virologist Malik Piris warns of an inevitable next pandemic. Interestingly, the report contrasts the US and China's environmental challenges, noting the mass die-off of honeybees in the United States, caused by colony collapse disorder, versus China's thriving bee populations, which continue to support the country's position as a leading producer of apiary products. Meanwhile, Russia's strategic diplomacy extends to Brazil, as Moscow seeks to involve other nations in peace efforts, illustrating the multifaceted and interconnected nature of global geopolitics, economics, and health security in an era marked by ongoing conflicts and shifting alliances. South China Morning Post reports that Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has confirmed that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit China at the end of this month for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin. This marks Modi's first trip to China in 7 years, a significant milestone amid the ongoing border dispute and recent improvements in bilateral relations. Wang Yi emphasized that China and India, as major neighbors and developing nations, should foster mutual trust, expand cooperation, and work together to resolve border issues peacefully. The talks also covered economic and trade topics, with India expressing willingness to maintain dialogue and deepen understanding, especially in the context of the recent border talks and the broader geopolitical landscape, including the cooling of India-US relations and ongoing trade tensions with the United States. The thaw in China-India relations has been marked by high-level meetings, such as Xi Jinping and Modi's in Russia last year, and efforts to stabilize their border situation, all against the backdrop of a shifting international environment where both nations seek stability and strategic partnership. CNN details that the Trump administration is contemplating a stake in Intel to bolster U.S. chip manufacturing, with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent suggesting that any such investment would be aimed at stabilizing the company rather than generating profit. Reports indicate the government might convert grants from the CHIPS and Science Act into a 10% equity stake, reflecting concerns over reliance on Taiwan for chips, which poses a national security risk. This move aligns with broader efforts to revive American semiconductor manufacturing, especially as competitors like Nvidia and AMD pay hefty taxes on chip exports to China. Intel, struggling to keep pace with rivals in mobile and AI chips, has recently laid off a significant portion of its staff, and President Trump has emphasized strengthening U.S. tech leadership through investments and partnerships. The potential government stake could serve as a precedent for future strategic investments, signaling a shift toward increased government involvement in critical technology sectors to safeguard national security and technological independence. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Turn on the TV screen, see the world unseen. China's on the news tonight, history in the spotlight. Scroll through my phone again, find out where to begin. Stories from the east to west, learning from the very best. News in China every day, learning in a fun new way. From the cities to the farms, feel the heartbeat, feel the charm. Ancient tales in modern times, mountains high from beginning to the end, connecting hearts through every word. China's story